17th of July, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
Hashem.
No, Lou, I spoke to Rabbi Baum. He said that I should not fast.
Okay, I'm glad that you got hold of him. Rufus
Yeah.
Lema. Do you need any help with anything?
No, we're okay. Thank you.
All right, well, let me know if you need any help with anything.
Okay.
Okay, feel better.
And so far, Joan is okay. So she did the home test. She's okay.
What are you doing to make sure she doesn't get sick? Nothing.
Oh, he's okay.
Yeah, all right, well, bummer. I know that he told me that if she gets sick, that it could be very, very bad.
Uh-huh. Okay, Bez Hashem. Everything should be good.
I mean,
Okay, so we're in the middle of this Gemora with on Sadi's Vav Amid base. Very interesting Gemora about a Mishnah and a Brisa that has switched around the shitas of Rabbi Meir and the Rabbanan. And the Gemara said that Rav Paskins like Rabbi Meir. And the Gemara asked, well, what do you mean Rabbi Meir? And we should Paskin like the Rabbanan. And the Gemara said, Mishum de Brisa Ifcha Tanya. It's on account of the fact that the Brisa switched around the opinion. So actually, according to the Brisa, the view that Rav is saying the halacha follows is in fact going according to Rabbanan. On that, the Gemara said, but that's also difficult to accept because we should accept the version of the Mishnah over the version of the Brisa. And then the Gemara concluded with, at least at this point, Rav Masnisen Nami Ifkatani. Oh, that's not even the end of the story either. Rav, the Mishnah itself, he switched around the views in the Mishnah. And then the Gemara asked, "My time of the Rav, the Apik Masdisen Mikame the Brisa." The Gemara assumed that the reason that Rav had done that, switched around the views of the what it says in the Mishnah, is based upon what it says in the Brisa. So Gemara said, "Adarabba, Nepok la Brisa Mikame Masdisen." Switch around the views of the Brisa to accord with the way the Mishnah records the Machlokes, because we're going with the principle that the Mishnah is more authoritative than the Brisa. And on that, the Gemara said, "Amrei Rav Nami Masnisen Ifka Asnia." What happened was that Rav understands that the view that the opinions that the Mishnah attributes to Reb Meir and Rabbanan are not accurate, and his source for that is not from the Brisa but from his teachers. So like that that's how we're understanding at this point.
According to my English, there's a Rashi on this last statement. that Rob was taught the Mishnah the opposite way.
Um, I mean, all we have at this point is that Rashi that says Ifka Asnaya.
Right?
Rashi just says Rabosov. Based upon his teachers, he switched around the views of the in the Mishnah, not based upon what it said in the Brisa.
Right. And that was leading us to question, why does his teachers teach it differently?
Yeah, so I didn't have time to look anything up on this matter. But at this point, I would say that I would say like this. I would say like this. The Mishnah was the Mishnayos are composed and by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, and Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he's the tail end of the Tanoim, right? He's the last generation of Tanoim, and we're talking here about a machlokes between Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim, which Rabbi Meir, he's a Talmud of Rabbi Akiva. So it's a few generations before. And yeah, Rebbe is the last of the generation. He's the last of the like the sixth generation of Tanoim, and Rebbe Meir would be like the third or fourth. And so there was I don't know when it started. But there seems to be that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he's expressing the machlokes between Rabbi Meir and the Chachamim in the way it's expressed in the Mishnah. But Rav's teachers were in the same generation as Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. They themselves were Tanoim. Rav himself has the status of a Tana, says the Gemora, because he can argue, unlike all the other Amoraim. Rav can the Gemora says in various places, the Gemora says, Rav Tana Upolig. Rav has the status of a Tana, and he can differ with the view of Tanoim even. Here, and Rashi is explaining that it's in fact it's not simply Rav who's saying this, but the Rav is saying that he has a Masorah from his that the correct machlokes is not like it says in the Mishnah. So basically, what you have is a machlokes Tanoim on who said what. And I'm not sure that it's simply, in other words, it's not like we said the other day, it's not simply a mistake of a scribe. It would seem to be that it's a machlokes of the Tanoim, of the earlier generations, even before Rav, because Rashi is explaining that that Rav was taught this is what the Mishnah reads. In other words, Rav was, in other words, you know what? The truth of the matter is that I don't even know if we know which way Rebbe himself said the Mishnah should be read. How about that?
Don't we presume that he said it the way it's written in our version?
I'm not. That's what I'm saying right now. If we would ask Rav, if we would give Rav the microphone, there's. I don't know if we're forced to say that Rav's teachers. In other words, it could be that Rav's teachers. Oh well, so then of course we are saying that there is some type of a mistake in the written rendering of the Mishnah, as they're saying if that would be maybe.
I don't think you can say that, Rabbi, because
Why?
Rav is acknowledging the existence of the Mishnah as we have it in our book, but because he says the halach is like Rabbi Meir, and we questioned how could he say that the halach is like Rabbi Meir when he's a yachid, and we said because really the halacha that's stated by Rebbe, according to our version, what Rebbe Meir says in Rav's version is what the Chachamim said. So by saying that it's like Rebbe Meir, he's acknowledging that there exists a version that says it differently. And if it was just a scribe's mistake, then why would he be recognizing it as being valid?
So then what's the alternative?
That it's not a scribe's mistake, that Rav recognized that there was a machlochus, and he wanted to rectify he wanted to clarify the halacha. So he said it's like Rebbe Meir, because he knew that was what it says in our version.
But how do you know that the version that we have here is in fact the correct version of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi?
Well, if it's not a mistake, then it has to be, because Rabbi Yehuda Nasi is the one who redacted it.
Did he write these words that it says in our Gemora here?
Well, my understanding is that he basically gathered together these Mishnayos from the scholars that were in residence in his palace. So yeah, he wrote it, and not necessarily he was the author, but he was the one who put it together.
Yeah, he's the one that put together the Mishnayos. I'm not arguing that point. What I'm saying is that the question is whether these words that we have, which we generally are attributing to in all other Mishnayos, we attribute them to be the faithful rendition of the way that Rabbeinu HaKodesh, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, rendered the Mishnah, but I don't know if I don't know if there's any exceptions in that case. I mean, is it more palatable? Is it more palatable to you to say, well, the other Tanoim are simply arguing with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, who said what? But this in fact is the correct view of what Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, as it's stated in the Mishnah. But Rav is saying that his teachers, they differed with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Is that more palatable?
Yes, that's more palatable to me.
Why?
Yes, that's more palatable to me because, but basically what that says is it's a machlokas. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi had a different Masorah than Rav had.
I mean, the truth is that these opinions that Rabbi Yehuda, rather these opinions that we're putting the names on them here in the Mishnah, we're saying it's the view of Rabbi Meir, it's the view of the Rabbanan. Certainly, this is a issue which was an issue even before Rabbi Meir was born and the Rabbanan were born.
Right.
So this was an issue. Is the Torah say like this? Is the Torah say like that? The way that we have it in the way that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi records it in our Mishnah is he records that machloikis, that difference of opinion. He attributes this view to Rabbi Meir and that view to Rabbanan. And Rav says that it's otherwise. Okay. Let's see what the Gemora says further. I think the Gemora is not finished with this matter. The bois ema. We have another way of explaining what happened over here. Let's ask Roy to start reading.
Where is it though?
Where is it?
It is on 96B4, right-hand column. It's very tough, an alternative answer.
Okay, thanks. So, the boy Ima. If you prefer to say, in fact, Rav's Mishnah text read the same as ours, and Rav indeed reversed the opinions of the Mishnah, so that the Mishnah conformed with the Brisa.
Phil, please mute.
Oh,
Okay, wait a minute. Gotta get to it.
Thank you.
oh, I thought I was on mute. Right. All right. So, if you prefer, say, in fact, Rav's Mishnah text read the same as ours, and Rav indeed reversed the opinions of the Mishnah, so that the Mishnah conformed with the Brisa. Ki lo afich, and when does he not reverse the text of the Mishnah in favor of the text of the Brisa? Chadar mikmei chadar. That is when it would involve amending one Mishnah in face of the opposite text found in one Baraisa. Chadar makamei tirate afich. But when it involves amending one Mishnah in face of an opposite text found in two Brisas, he does reverse the text found in the Mishnah, and in this case there are two Brisas that have Reb Meir ruling that slaves are treated as movables. The Brisa alluded to above, and another Brisa, the Tanya, for it was taught in a different Brisa, Hamachalif Pira B'Chamar. If one exchanges a cow for a donkey, V'yolador, and the cow gave birth. V'chein ha'amocha shipachoso v'lidor. And similarly, if one sells his Canaanite slave woman and she gave birth, Ze Omar Berishusi Yildo, this one says she gave birth in my domain, so the offspring is mine. V'halo shulsot, and that one is silent because he doesn't know. Zechurbo, he, the one who states his claim with certainty, takes possession of the offspring. Will I go further?
No, let's see what. Oh, I see we have a very long Rashi over here now. Oh well, let's do the. We have a not so long Rashi. We have a couple Rashis over here. Let's do them right now. Rashi Dibur Masli Ibois Ema. It's Vav Aleph Base Aleph. The Ibois Ema. It's the right opposite the where the Mishnah begins.
Okay, I see it. Should I read?
Yeah.
The Iboy is Ema, and if you want, you can say Ki Lo Mafkina. If you want, you can say that they're not disagreeing.
No, Mafkina is talking about from the word lahafoch, to turn over, to reverse.
Oh, so that if you want, you can say he did not reverse. Masnisan, is this abbreviation?
Yeah, right. Masnisan.
Masnisan Mikame Derisa. Our Mishnah establishes the law is Derisa.
Debrisa.
Debrisa. Our Mishnah establishes it according to the Brisa. So he didn't reverse. He established it according to the Brisa.
So Rashi is if you want, we could give an alternative answer. Kiloi mafchina, that when the Mishnah does not switch around the opinions, become a brisa on account of a brisa. When is that? Rashi is Rashi's going on the words of the brisa kilo apech, right? When is it that we said above that we don't change the words of a Mishnah because of what we see in a brisa, because we view the Mishnah as being more authoritative. So now the Gemora is saying it's like there is a we're qualifying that principle. That principle is going to be qualified and limited. When is it that we do not switch around a Mishnah based upon what it says in the Brisa? That's the words of the Biboy Sema Kiloi Mafchina. When do we not switch around Masnisin, a Mishnah, become a Brisa based upon what it says in a Brisa? That we say that principle, Chada become a Chada. That's when we have, I'm just reading from the words of the Brisa, when we have one against one. one Mishnah against one Brisa. But the Gemara is going to say over here, Chada mikame tarte apech. If we have one against two, so then we will switch around the Mishnah. So that's what this Iboy Sema is saying over here. When is it that we do not? Hiloi mafchina. When is it that we do not switch a Mishnah, become a Brisa, in the face of what a Brisa says? That's when we have Chada become a Chada. That's when we have one against another one Mishnah against only one Brisa. And now we have a Rashi on this phrase, one against one. Chada become a Chada.
Wait, what was the translation and understanding of the previous Rashi? Masnisen Mikame Beresa.
Yeah, so Rashi is a run-on Rashi. He's saying, he's going on the words ki lo mafchina. When do we not switch around? Ki lo mafchina is when do we not switch around? Mafchina comes from the word like nahapachu, a turnaround.
Right.
When is it that we don't turn around and switch the Mishnah around? Become a Brisa before a Brisa which contradicts it. When is it that we do not? When is it that we do not switch around the Mishnah? That's Rashi's. So Rashi's explaining what those words called kilo apich. What are they referring to?
Oh, I see.
And I guess it's a bit confusing because we don't even have that word mafchina. We have the word kilo apich.
Right. So it's the run on Rashi which reads, when do we not reverse our Mishnah in the face of a Brisa?
Right, because if you read just the words of if you just translate the words of the Gemora, all the Gemora says is, Iboy Sema, if you want, we could say the following alternative answer. Kilo apich, when we don't switch, chad mikame chada, one against one. What does that mean?
Right. And
when is it that we don't switch? One against one. That needs explanation.
Right. So the English sticks in the text of the Mishnah in favor of the text of the Brisa, and that's what Rashi. That's coming directly from Rashi.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you. Okay, chada mikame chada. One in front of one. Aval chada mishane mikame tarte Brisa. Mapich v'hacha tarte ika chada ha de amiran le'ayo Brisa ipcha Tanya de idan ha desanya kule. So, but one from two in the face of two, tarte is two.
Yeah.
Two Brises. Mapich. What's mapich?
That's another word for turn it around.
It would have a reverse. The hacha, and here, tarte ika chada, two are one.
No, there's a comma after hacha tartiika, and here there are two, meaning there are two brises.
There are two. Okay, there are two brises. Chada ha de amrinan. One that says la'ayel above brisa, in a brisa, ipcha tanya. I forgot what ipcha was.
Ipcha is this is just another form of the same word of turning around and switching around.
Right. Okay, so this that it says above in the brisa, turn around, Tanya, turn around what we learned in the Mishnah.
No, this is like a quote from the words of the Gemora. Rashi's telling us Chada, the first brisa, is Hada Amran La'el. Is that brisa that we said above when we said the words brisa if Tanya? We said, oh, the brisa, we taught it just the opposite of what it says in the Mishnah meaning. You look in the words
is opposite of the Tanya of the Mishnah.
Yeah.
Idan ha desanya kule. What's Idan?
Be'idach. That's a chaf suffix.
Be'idach.
Be'idach. Yeah, means the other, and the other one, meaning the other brisa, the second brisa,
is like our Mishnah.
Hadasanya. Is no, what we're saying over here is that we have two brises against one Mishnah, meaning that we have one brisa that says that the machlokes is like this between Rabbi Meir and Chachamim, and the Gemora is now saying that in fact we don't have just one brisa that learns the machlokes just the opposite, but we really have two brises. We have two separate brises that learn that the machlokes Reb Meir and Chachamim is just the opposite of the way that it's represented in our Mishnah. So even though if we only had one Mishnah against one brisa, we would go with the Mishnah. We say the Mishnah is more authoritative. But if we have two brises that say the same thing that corroborate one another, we have two brises that corroborate one another, and they both say that the halach that they both represent the machlokes Rebbe Meir and the Chachamim in a way which is just the opposite of the way the Mishnah represents it. So then we will say that in that case we will go with the view that's expressed in the two brises. Two brises will be, according to this answer, two brises will be more authoritative than one Mishnah.
So to review the presumptions we were making before, in light of this new information, are we saying then that the theory is that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi had a Masorah that led him to publish the Mishnah the way he did, and we have two other sets of scholars who each had a Masorah for a different brisa, which disagreed with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. Therefore, it's a machloches.
Yeah. Right. So if we, in other words, yeah, if we have two brises, if we have two brises that both of these brises are corroborating one another, and they're saying the same, they're saying the same thing, they're agreeing with one another, and they're both in agreement against the Mishnah. So then we'll say that the two brises are more authoritative. Now you're saying that's because two brises means that there's two separate Tanaic opinions. We would have to see what it says exactly in the brises. The brisa said in the name of only one Tana. Is it said stam, which would be in which would represent a general view? We'll have to see what it says over there. But so far that's the basic answer is that we're making a limitation in this which we said that a Mishnah is more authoritative than a brisa. We're saying that that's where we have only one brisa against one Mishnah. But if we have one brisa against two, if we have one Mishnah against two brisas, so then that rule doesn't apply.
Even if the two brises are brought from the same Masorah.
Well, let's just see what it says in the brises. How we understand it. If it's the same Masorah, if it's two different, it's clearly two different Tanoim that are saying these two different brises. We'll have to see.
Okay, let me ask one more clarification, please. And that is that according to this view, now we're saying that Rav is not disagreeing with anything. He's simply saying, I see these two brises. Therefore, I'm ruling according to the two brises.
That's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. We don't have to say that he has a Masorah from his Rebbeim right. I mean, it could be like that. It could be like that. But this, I mean, I'm just thinking also it might be that that's exactly what his Rebbeim were telling him. It might ultimately also go back to his Rebbeim. And they're saying that, this rule that we always go with the Mishnah against the Brisa, that's only when you have one against one. But when you have one against two, so his Rebbeim told him you go with the two Brisas against the Mishnah.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, now, so these last few words of Rashi, Ve'idach Hodesanya, and the other Brisa, in other words, Rashi's telling us, where are these two Brisas that the Gemora is talking about? So Rashi says, very simply, the first Brisa is the Brisa that we mentioned above, that we said we have a Brisa that says exactly the opposite of what the Mishnah says. And the other brisa is Hodesanya, is the brisa that we are now going to the Gemora is now going to say. Hamachlif para b'chamor. That is going to be the next brisa, and we're going to see that at the end of that brisa, we're going to see the opinions of Rebbe Meir and the Chachamim. And the way that the Rebbe Meir and the Chachamim are going to be represented over there, we're going to see it's going to be a way that is consistent with what the other brisa says against what the Mishnah says. Is the Okay. So it's 12:30. So I guess we'll hold it for here. Be'ezus Hashem. Everybody have a good fast. Be'ezus Hashem, and stay healthy and well. Be'ezus Hashem. Hashem should be shomer everybody. Be'ezus Hashem. Everybody should feel good, and we'll see one another tomorrow. Be'ezus Hashem.
Amen. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye-bye.
All the best. Bye, Alan. Bye, Lou. Bye, Phil. Bye, Roy.